I agree with you. I mean, it was really shocking how many free runs to the hoop they got.
Tip-off goes to Charlotte. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. On the court for the Hornets, Walker runs the point with Stevenson flanking him. Inside, you have Vonleh and Jefferson, and it's Butler in at the small forward. Now, here's Vonleh, and that one's drained from the low block. Vonleh's got the first points up on the board here for Charlotte. And so here is Indiana. And this is the first time matched up with the Hornets this season.
Yeah, I think they're a little better than this ball club, and it showed last year winning the season series.
Hibbert against Jefferson. Hibbert kicks to George. And that is good.
Very well done. He is a confident, dynamic scorer.
Pacers on defense. Outplayed in the previous game on their schedule, losing to Chicago.
And if you look at the offensive rebounding totals from that game, this team was at a severe disadvantage. You can't expect to win the game when you're only getting one attempt every time down the floor.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get some extra possessions, and clearly they were inferior in that area of the game. And you were right on top of it, Steve. For a little guy, that's pretty observant that rebounding would be a stat that you would be able to lock into.
Here's George after the basket by Noah Vonleh. And that one's good. Steve just mentioned how they won the season series a year ago. That was the way it went against most teams they faced.
True. They were a very hard team to get the best of, Kevin.
Well, Clark, you see Paul George out there, and I just think back to last season when he came out of the gate so hot and just was dominant in every part of the first part of the season. He really set the tone for the Pacers, I thought, last year, and you had a front row seat. You saw it all.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch his quick, hot start. He was consistent, and he really carried the Pacers to a really strong start in the first two-thirds of the season, right at the top of the Eastern Conference. But as hot as his start was, there was a bit of a downturn for him and the team as well.
Well, you saw it. How did he take it as the season went on?
Yeah, you know, it took a toll on him. Again, that's part of growing into being the guy that's big name on the marquee.
Now here's Walker, following the miss by David West. Walker dishes to Jefferson. Puts up the baby hook. Vonleh, the pass to Walker. Sinks the 15-footer. Walker's got his first 2 points.
4 or 5 shots have dropped for them already. Not a bad way to get things started.
With George, that slump he hit was right after the All-Star break. You wonder if he just expended too much of himself in that first half of the season.
Now here is Hill. Right now averaging 11 points a game. And Miles kicks to Hill. 6 to shoot. Hill left side. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. It goes on Noah Vonleh.
Yeah, the defender draped all over him.
Pretty plain and simple. Got him good there. When you talk about that slump for Paul George after such a terrific start, I mean, a lot of factors may have contributed. He plays so hard at both ends of the court, takes on a lot of responsibility offensively and defensively for the Pacers. I think it may very well be that he's still learning how to pace himself for that extra responsibility of being a marked player at both ends of the floor.
Now here's Stevenson. He's coming off a 13-point game against Dallas. Here's Williams. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Marvin Williams, the former #2 pick out of North Carolina back in 2005, now in his 10th season in the NBA.
And Williams never a star, but he is a quality defender and able to space the floor.
You know, you got to take him for what he is, and that's really a solid rotation player throughout his career. Kevin, there are only 25 to 30 all-star caliber players in the league, maybe 35. After that, everybody else is a role player. And you have to understand it and embrace it and accept it. Boy, he really bungled that finish.
We've got 1:48 left here in the first quarter. Stevenson drives in, feeds to Jefferson. Williams with the ball. Scola covering. That's a 2-pointer from Walker. Rebound by Mahinmi.
Well, the shot was there for him, and he had to take it. I don't care if he didn't convert it. He's got to take that every time. Their offense already flowing. Some stellar shooting while jumping out to this lead.
Well, high-quality shots, and they've been on target with them.
Now here is Hill. 8 points his last outing. Back to Scola. Here's Miles. Indiana moving it around. And George, here we go. It's stolen by Jefferson. Outside Williams. Butler dishes to Walker. And it's the Hornets, another 3.
Well, with this soft D, they're allowing them to shoot a very high percentage from the field so far.
Yeah, and they're just not offering any resistance, not making anything difficult for them, and they're able to kind of do whatever they want to do.
Now here's Scola. 9-point game his last outing. And yes, sir, that one drops. They play the clock right, Steve. They can go 2 for 1.
Yeah, just have to time it right. Make sure you work the clock correctly. You get 2 possessions out of this.
Here's Walker. He had 10 points in the win against Dallas. Williams passes to Stevenson. Jefferson setting the pick for Stevenson. Just 5 on the clock. Jefferson's shot is off. Pacers trail by 8. And George kicks to Hill. Back to George. From deep. It's rebounded by Charlotte. From half court. Shot no good. There's the buzzer, and not much scoring at all through the first quarter of play. Hornets ahead. They lead by 8. And we'll get.
Tune in.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And let's quickly break down the game, guys, we've been watching from the Hornets.
Just the start they wanted to this game. Solid offense. They got good ball movement. Established a nice rhythm.
Yeah, not stagnant at all. Free-flowing and fluid at the offensive end.
Down low, West and Hibbert. Watson out there with Rodney Stuckey. And it's George in at the 3 spot. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Pacers.
Can't say I'm surprised that one didn't fall. He can barely dunk it in the pregame layup line.
Here's Dunleavy, defended by George. Dunleavy dishes to Vonleh. Dunleavy the pass to Vonleh. That's good. Vonleh's got the lead up to 10 now for Charlotte. Now Watson, averaging 9 points per contest.
Well, it's amazing what a year can do, isn't it? I mean, then Bobcats, now Hornets looked completely lost heading into last season, but with the additions they made, I think they have this ship back on track.
6 to shoot, and he gets it to go.
Picture perfect with the turnaround. There's no stopping that shot.
Hornets leading by 8. Here's Roberts. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. The jump hook, and Vonleh finishes it off. As you said, Charlotte really one of the teams that took a lot of people by surprise last year. Big turnaround, spearheaded by a wonderful presence in the locker room, Big Al Jefferson.
Yeah, and a tremendous presence on the floor, too, as a post scorer and guy that demanded double teams. The organization saw that things were wide open in the East. They could have sat on their hands and stood pat, but they went after Al Jefferson and got a centerpiece to build on.
Second quarter of basketball, just over a minute and a half played so far. Watson kicks to Stuckey. Stuckey left side. No one near him. The shot's good on the assist by West. Here's Roberts. Right now averaging 5 points a game. Out left to the wing. Dunleavy's shot is off. Pacers trail by 8. Outside, George hands it from downtown. George has got 7 points.
And they've set up countless buckets off assists. That's a huge part of what they've been doing here today.
A lot of dime dropping going on out there, Steve.
Dunleavy kicks to Biyombo. Puts up the baby hook. Second chance shot, and there's the nice layup by Vonleh. Vonleh's got 6 here in this quarter.
Well, it looks like he's finally found his footing in this game. His first quarter was a real struggle, but he's gotten it going now.
Here's Hibbert. Biyombo with the block. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, Kevin, Al Jefferson, a veteran leader, and he's changed the Hornets locker room. A former coach, Doc Rivers, said, you know the people in your life who just bring sunshine? That's Al. He brings it wherever he goes. And guys, Big Al said of his young teammates, I don't talk much, but they really wanted to listen.
Doris, just an easygoing guy. Great presence. Thank you.
And the generous spirit, too, Kevin, is Al Jefferson. I mean, in Utah, he never hesitated to mentor their young guys.
Out of bounds. Charlotte takes possession. Here we are in November, and let's see how things are going out east in the early season. Taking a look at Charlotte. Things going their way so far in this season. Right now, they lead the pack up front in the first spot with the best record. And, of course, Indiana sitting there 4 spots below.
Looking at Indiana, this team has been a little off their normal pace here in the early going, but they've still got plenty of time to get it corrected, and if they do, they'll be dangerous.
Yeah, this is a group that's consistently among the premier teams in the league. Now, you've got to figure it's only a matter of time before they really get it clicking.
Arm's length from the hoop, he knocks it down. And now an 11-point Hornets lead. The Pacers have gone 50% from the floor in the second quarter, 3 of 6.
Bismack Biyombo, the former number 7 pick overall in 2011, played a career low in minutes last season, but he was more efficient with his minutes. A rising shot blocker and rebounder off the bench.
Shot clock at 6. Here's Hibbert. That doesn't go either for Hibbert. Hornets leading by 11. 50 seconds left here in the second. And Roberts kicks to Dunleavy. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. And for Biyombo last season, Clark, a career high from the field.
Well, Kevin, his turnovers have gotten worse season after season. That's where he's got to make some improvement. It's one thing to be limited offensively, but you got to take care of the pumpkin.
So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Mahimi's checked in for Hibbert. Scola comes in for David West. C.J. Miles, he's checked in for George. And George Hills subbed in for Rodney Stuckey.
That's a familiar sight. He hardly ever wastes his chances at the line. Cashes in regularly.
Scola dishes to Hill. Scola sets a screen for Hill to end the drought. And with that, the Hornet lead is cut down now to just 11 on the bucket from Miles.
And Scola, Luis Scola, setting a really nice screen that time.
And here's Walker. 5 points in the game. Williams a screen on Hill. And Walker kicks to Williams. That falls. Nice feed that time from Walker. Williams has got the lead up to 13 now for the Hornets. Here's Hill. And the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. And we've reached halftime in this one. Hornets lead by 13. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Well, Coach Vogel, a tough going for your guys so far tonight. What's been the biggest obstacle to pulling off your game plan?
Well, they're just a great defensive team. You know, we're not handling our pressure well enough. We're trying to work it inside. They're fronting, and we got to execute our counters.
Thank you for the time, Coach. Guys, over to you.
All right, Doris, thank you. And time now for the halftime break with the third quarter soon to follow here on 2K Sports. As we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started. It's been one outstanding game from Noah Vonleh.
I like that he didn't force anything in that first half. His decision-making was really flawless.
That being the case, Steve, I think they want him to be more assertive in the second half. Look to take more shots. Be a little more shot hungry, even the tough ones.
Tipping off the second half, here's Steve Clifford's 5. Inside, you have Vonleh and Jefferson. Walker runs the point with Stevenson flanking him. And it's Butler in at the 3. Pass to Walker. And Charlotte again with the bucket. So it's the Pacers now. 15-point game.
Last season, Kemba Walker's per-game numbers were pretty comparable to his breakthrough second season, but his efficiency shooting the ball dropped a little bit overall. He was under 40% from the field last season.
And it's Hibbert missing.
The defense better not make a habit of giving him that shot. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them.
And Walker kicks to Stevenson. Back to Walker. The feed to Jefferson. Just 5 on the clock. The jump hook, and Charlotte again with the bucket. And for Walker last season, Steve, less points in the paint, more threes.
Well, and he's improved that three-point percentage every season in the NBA, so he's growing comfortable from that range. And, you know, and it's a nice trend with the Hornets looking to create space for Big Al Jefferson inside. They'll need those perimeter threats.
Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Kevin, I was able to hear the advice Frank Vogel gave to his team during that last break. Teamwork was the theme of the discussion in that huddle. He said, quote, "Good shots are there for us on the perimeter if we share the ball, work it around, and find the open man." He also told them that he wants to see multiple passes on every possession. He said that was the key to getting the best shot each time down. Coach was not wasting any time in altering their strategy here in the second half. And Kevin, he's going to have to hope those changes take effect quickly.
Thanks again, Doris. Here's Butler. And he was camped in the lane there, and he gets the 3-second call. And now let's take a look at a breakdown of this season's best rebounding point guards. Take a look at Hill, a terrific rebounder, 5th overall.
And it may not be the first thing you think about, but if you look at a lot of the all-time great point guards, rebounding was always a big part of their game.
Yeah, I think that's true, Steve. It's not a necessary attribute for a point guard, but the ability to rebound is something that took a few of the greats to another level entirely, and it helps your team, too.
And George kicks to Hill. And the pass to Hibbert. The baseline J. That one wide left. Hornets leading by 15. Walker goes in. Butler on the wing. Walker the pass to Stevenson. Here's Miles. Throws down the breakaway jam.
You know, regardless of who starts the break, it seems like he's usually the one to finish it.
And that's because of how well he attacks the rim on the dead run.
Well, you wondered how things would go for the Pacers after they had a hiccup midseason. They call players-only meeting.
And did so very close to the playoffs, Kevin. This team struggled because of its youth in handling the extra scrutiny and the burden of expectations. And it took them a while to kind of figure it out and weren't quite as good as they wanted to be during the playoffs.
And Stevenson drops them both.
And you could see how it affected the team early on in the playoffs. The Hawks took them to 7 games. They had some trouble with Washington. Definitely seemed like they had some issues to figure out.
Back to George. 13 feet away. And another shot. And it's Hibbert laying it in.
He got a great read of where that miss was going, and that allowed him to be the first guy to it and get the putback.
Stevenson outside. Puts up the baby hook, and he gets it to go. And it's 6 points for Al Jefferson.
And the shooting percentage continues to climb, guys, here in the second half. They're on fire.
Steve, I like the collective focus since halftime. Good team basketball resulting in high-quality shots.
Hill sets the screen for West. George, no good.
That's excellent defense right there on the perimeter.
We've gone about 3.5 minutes into the third now. Jefferson setting the pick for Stevenson. Outside Jefferson. Hill pulls it in.
Well, as far as jump shots go, that's as high percentage as it gets.
I'm not sure how that didn't go down.
Well, at least the defender got his money's worth on that one.
Yep, that was an easy whistle for the official.
You have to wonder, as we've seen Paul George go from good to great and then from great to fantastic the last couple of seasons, what's his ceiling? With his size and skill set, there's very little that he can't do on the floor.
Catching up on the changes now for Indiana. Mahimi's checked in for Hibbert. Scola comes in for David West. And it's Watson in for George Hill. Now the Pacers moving it up. George with the ball, and he gets it to go as they call the foul. He's on his way to the line for one more.
Gotta love the use of the bounce pass there. Perfect feed.
Well, Clark, for Paul George, it's incredible to think that he was taken as late as he was in the draft. But as you said earlier, his ceiling is through the roof, and he's right up there with LeBron and KD as the best threes in the game.
Yeah, I agree with you there, man. Really nice to watch his development because he's made progress each year. It'll take an incredible amount of hard work for him to surpass either of those two in the grand scheme of things, but I wouldn't doubt anything when it comes to Paul George's ceiling. It's just going to be a matter of his commitment to the work and staying focused on realizing his tremendous God-given ability.
A sensational run has them on the brink of tying it up or even taking the lead all of a sudden.
Steve, quite a turn of events here. I mean, they really snapped into focus in a hurry and tightened up their game at both ends.
And the rejection by Mahimi. And up the court come the Pacers on the break. And there's the foul. It goes on C.J. Miles. That's foul number 2 for him.
Well, I love it. He gets there first, absorbs the contact. Nice play defensively.
No flop there. He took that one right in the chest.
Neal dishes to Dunleavy. Buries the long-range jumper. Dunleavy's got 5 now. Here's George. Can't get it to go. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. The Hornets on top. They're up by 11. And when we return, we'll get the fourth quarter rolling right here on 2K Sports. And a chance right now to show you our State Farm assist of the game.
Well, today it comes from one of the men in the middle, Kevin. And let me tell you, anytime you get a big man who can pass like this, it really changes the way you can play offense. It diversifies your offensive attack.
Let me ask, who is the best passing big man you played with?
Luke Longley.
Ah, the Australian.
Yes, big redhead, good passer down on the low block.
The number 1 pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves. George and Scola, there are the forwards. C.J. Miles is out there with Watson, and it's Mahimi in at the 5, patrolling the paint. So that's the group out there for Indiana. Dunleavy for 3, and it's the Hornets another 3.
That's 2 straight quick three-pointers they've allowed.
They better not make it 3 straight, because now all of a sudden you're looking at a hot streak.
Watson kicks to Miles. And so it looks like the Pacers will retain possession here.
Super defensive play. I mean, if that pass gets through, it's probably 2 points.
And he knew that. He knew if it gets through, it's a score, so that's why he sold out for it and got a hand on it.
The Pacers making a switch here. Hill's checked in. Outside, George. The pass to Scola. 6 on the shot clock. And George, here we go. The putback, and Mahimi with the stuff.
It just seems like they're finding an open lane to the hoop every time down. That's 5 buckets in a row for them in the paint.
Yeah, on the flip side, Steve, the defenders have to show more fight on the interior.
Here's Vonleh. The shot's good on the assist by Walker. Walker's got 3 assists tonight.
But we haven't seen him play too many games like this one before. This has to be fun for him.
Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over.
You know, back in college, Kemba Walker led UConn to the 2011 NCAA championship and was the Final Four most outstanding player that season. Nice to see a winner like him back in the playoffs last season.
Roy Hibbert's checked in for the Pacers. Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Hey, Kevin, during that last break, I heard Frank Vogel addressing his team. He let his players know that they've got to do a better job on defense. He said they're scoring any way they want. We've got to show some pride here. Let's make a stand defensively, get us stops, and get on a run of our own. Do they have it in them, Kevin?
Let's take a moment here to get your guys' take on scoring so far for Charlotte.
You know, one of the big stories has been the three ball. It's been a key part of their offense throughout the game.
And how about the low post play? They're getting good offensive execution down on the block.
And guys, Walker, far and away the leading scorer for UConn in their title run. Last season, second on the Cats in scoring after Al Jefferson. Steve, can he be a distributor as well, do you think?
I think so. You know, he's not an elite playmaker, but for this team, he's needed as a scorer. So he has to find that balance. He's certainly capable of making plays for others.
The Pacers making a switch here. West is checked in. Pacers trail by 12. Just about 1.5 minutes gone by here in the fourth. Lots of room. It's rebounded by Vonleh. Vonleh's got 6 rebounds now in the game.
It's a +5 advantage for them in the rebounding category after that board.
Very steady work they've been doing on the interior, no question. And that's, I think, the main reason they have this lead.
Butler kicks to Walker. Left side Walker. From about 19 feet. And he connects with the jumper. The Pacers have gone 1 of 4 since the end of the third quarter. Hill against Walker. Ball's knocked loose. Inside runner. Shot is good, and the Charlotte lead is cut down to 12 on the bucket from Hill. Now here's Walker. For those just joining us, fourth quarter here. We're just over 2.5 minutes into it. Stevenson passes to Butler. He kicks it to Walker. 5 to shoot. Left side Walker, and Charlotte again with the bucket.
Wow, he was just wide open there. That's way too easy.
The Pacers have gone 2 for 5 on field goal attempts in the fourth quarter. Hill with it. He's picked up by Walker. George dishes to Hill. To the left wing. And the shot is good. The Hornet lead has been cut down now to just 12 on the basket from West.
And he was one step ahead of the defense when he fired that pass for the assist.
Walker goes in. Here's Jefferson. Comes up empty down low. Pacers have gone 3 of 6 from the field so far in the fourth quarter. Hill against Butler. Watson kicks it to West. Turnaround Jay. Shot is off. And the Hornets now going the other way. 17 points was their biggest margin.
Such a solid performance for them inside. Their rebounding has been terrific.
Yeah, that's just one of the few things that have gone their way today.
And Walker kicks to Vonleh. Shot clock at 6. Jefferson trying to break loose. And no good. Trying to use the glass.
And there's no doubt about this one. Playing with a lot of confidence tonight. A statement victory for the Hornets.
In the end, they had a better shooting percentage, and that's what made the difference. Sometimes, you know, Clark, things go your way. The other team wasn't catching many lucky breaks themselves.
Well, it's more than luck, Kevin. I think the shot selection was good, too.
And it'll advance their win total up to 12 on the season.
And asserting themselves right from the start, guys. They'll be taking the front end of a 4-game season series between these two clubs. They've got to feel good getting the upper hand tonight against the Pacers.
Shot and game clock separated by 5. Takes it off the glass. The Hornets have gone 4 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the fourth. Outside, Walker. Kicks it to Butler. Looking for Jefferson. He gets it there. 7-foot shot, and the bank shot is good.
And the crowd here, of course, not happy about the outcome. But you know what? We saw a team tonight that came in prepared to do battle, right, on the road, and they clearly wanted the win.
You know,